I think when you break down our season last year, first of all, we had a really fun team and a team that really pulled together. We were a really good defensive team, and so on that end of the ball, that end of the floor, our major emphasis is we can't skip steps. You're battling human nature a little bit when you're a good defensive team and you're restarting a new season, and we need to make sure that we beat that and that we're dialed in to doing every little thing together to make our defense as good as it can be, because it really was the driver of our success last year. And offensively, we just weren't good enough, and and that's something that we've all worked on. But we have some specific areas that we will really hone into. And the interesting part was we got better as the year went on, with the exception, obviously. Game 7 is a tough one for all of us to swallow right there. But I thought that in the playoffs, we did a lot of good things for the most part. But we have some real areas to improve there. Otherwise, we're not at the level we want to be at. And so, we'll see if we put in the work defensively, and we'll see if we improve offensively.
Coach.
You had a plan with Gordon last year, but obviously you were not able to come through well. How much do you go back to that now? How much do you mention that plan?
I mean, you look at everybody on your team, the strengths they bring to the table, and try to blend those together. And that's our role. So, he's one of 15 that we have to be able to make sure that what we're doing fits with how he best can add value to winning. And to his credit, he's a guy that can play a lot of different roles with regard to a scorer, facilitator, a ball handler, those types of things. So, he'll have games this year where he scores the ball at a high rate, and he'll have games where he doesn't, but he does a lot of other things that adds value to winning. And so, just like I said, everybody has that they have to bring to the table, and he has a specific skill set that will need him to be able to contribute.
But when you have a young guy like Tatum, who obviously showed his ability to score last year, how much does bringing another playmaker into the mix actually accentuate?
Well, it should accentuate because it fits, skill standpoint. I think Gordon's ability to play as the primary ball handler, will open up opportunities too. So, I mean, the obvious, we're not playing in a day and age necessarily where we're numbering all of our guys, what position they are. We're gonna have all those guys out there at once, and hopefully be very versatile.
Coach, I'm sure you'll probably stay close to the medical staff when it comes to Kyrie, and I know he's declaring himself 100%, but how much will you go into the situation where, are you going to take the reins off him and say you can just go, or are you just going to monitor it also by yourself?
You mean from a medical standpoint?
From a medical
Yeah,
standpoint, and just from like the eye test.
No, you try to do that as much as you can. The eye test is a big part of it, and then if you see something that's of a concern, then you immediately go to your medical staff. So from my standpoint, they'll tell me what he is allowed to do and where we need to pull back, and we'll go from there. But that's their call, but yeah, obviously if you see something, then you'll say something about that. But I'm not anticipating much based on what I've seen with regard to how he's moved and just individual shooting drills, and then when they've played open gym over the last couple of weeks.
Have you been around a player where they've come off of an injury and maybe they think that they're further along than you think they are?
Sure.
How do you do that? How do you adjust the situation with that? I mean, every player obviously is different.
You got the medical. That's a medical side. I mean, they're the ones that make the decisions, and in constantly getting input from the players.
Sure.
But that is and then as a coach, you only play people or practice people that you've been cleared to play or practice.
Brad, what does a healthy Kyrie mean for this team?
Well, obviously he's a special player. His ability to score the ball, make plays for himself and others, and organize you on both ends is really important. And so, obviously we're thrilled he's back, and looking forward to going to work. He's put in a lot of work to get back fully healthy, and you can tell, like, it's been a really good summer for him. You can just kind of tell by the way he's carried himself and the way he's looked prior to the beginning of training camp.
Final couple of questions for Brad.
Brad, what's it been like watching this team play pickup maybe the last couple of weeks? And again, it's different. A year ago you didn't have Tatum is what he is now, Jalen what he is now, Rozier, and you add Gordon and Kyrie. Kind of what's it been like for you to see all these, I guess, toys in some regard?
I think if you talk to any coach ever, pickup's not exactly the most exciting thing, because I'm looking at the habits we need to build on the defensive end of the floor, and how the different things that we have a long way to go. That being said, we clearly have a lot of really good players.
Brad, the responsibility of Kyrie, has it changed last year? At the beginning, he was the head of the snake. It was him and Gordon, and then Al, and then you had Jalen kind of growing, and then Jason was kind of an unknown. Now you've got Jalen and Jason who have grown to be, frontline players themselves. So how Kyrie facilitates the offense, his decisions to when to shoot and when not to shoot, how does that go in? How do you work with him on the decision-making part when the roster has changed so much?
Well, I think Kyrie's one of the smartest players I've been around. I mean, he understands both sides of the floor. He thinks the game. He spends a lot of time studying the game, and he knows when it's right to attack and when it's right to spray it. And there is some responsibility on whoever your initiator is of the offense, and sometimes that'll be Kyrie when he's in. Sometimes it won't. Maybe Gordon or Tatum or Terry or Marcus or whoever is with him brings it down. But there is some responsibility in making sure that we're all organized, and I think that that's the most important thing. And then hopefully we're able to play to our strengths. But we've talked about this before here. We don't want to set limits on people. We don't want to set ceilings on people. Everybody has ownership in this, and the young guys getting better, growing, and showing new things is a good thing. And so it's a responsibility of all of us to keep everybody moving in the right direction.